Good afternoon again. We are continuing our March 10th, 2025 Select Board meeting. Next item on the agenda will be open forum. Is there anyone here for open forum?
Yes.
Yes,
Open
sir.
forum, yep. Just state your name and your address, please.
Afternoon, my name is Dan O'Rourke. I'm from Washington Street. And the reason I'm here, I just had a question more than anything else. What the process would be to have at the next coming town meeting in May, I believe, to have a reconsideration regarding the sewerage agreement, tentative agreement, so that town people could reconsider or give it further thought, because I'm getting a lot of mixed messages about how people feel about it. So I think it warrants maybe some reconsideration and a chance for people to rethink their position on it. And I don't know what that involves as far as getting that in front of the town meeting.
Okay, you say you're getting a lot of people talking to you about this?
Yes.
Okay,
Recently, I started facilitating a group upstairs.
correct.
And I think the biggest concern, it's not so much development as it's the kind of one-dimension development that is being raised and talked about. I'm speaking as an individual now. I know we need development here in town, but I think people have a real issue with some of the development that's being proposed, which is tied in directly with the sewer line, because it can't go forward without it.
That's not true.
I don't know.
It's
We'll have to
absolutely
see.
false.
I'm not the expert here.
False.
Okay,
That's the problem we're having. It's like the information that's coming, and I've been at both the meetings, Mr. Rowe, right? I've spoken to you on 2 occasions. And this, 40B that you're talking about can be built with or without this system. I mean, without this source system. I mean, you could just do a wastewater
Okay, well,
treatment.
I don't know that. I'm not.
I've told you that, though. I mean, you're just not
No,
listening.
No, that's,
okay, let's get back to, you're in open forum. Okay, and I believe Mr. Seelig has already told you what that format is?
Well, we talked a bit earlier, and I'll go
Okay.
over the basics. What you want to do is a petition article. The warrant for the annual town meeting has been closed, but the warrant for the special town meeting on the same day, the same night, is still open. So what you would do is you would go to the town clerk's office. They have the forms there for a petition article. You would gather at least 100 signatures, because you need at least 100 signatures of registered voters here in East Bridgewater. The town clerk would then certify the signatures. You'd have the wording of the article on the form. You'd have to come up with the wording yourself. And gather the signatures, submit them to the town clerk's office. If the town clerk certifies there's at least 100 registered voters, then the article goes on the warrant, as long as the petitions are sent in or brought into the town clerk's office no later than April 7th.
mhm.
Okay,
That's it.
okay, thank you. Anyone else for open forum? With that, I will close the open forum portion of our meeting. Madam Clerk, we go on to action items.
We will. Action item number 1 is a discussion and possible vote on the appointment of a fire chief, pending successful contract negotiations.
Second.
Okay, for discussion purposes.
I'm not ready.
We just spent a couple of hours interviewing 4 fantastic candidates for the position of fire chief of the town of East Bridgewater. I think all of us has the same thing. It's going to be very, very difficult to try to find one of these people that is a step better than the other 3. So based on that, I would, at this time, say that we should set up another meeting where we can come in and get together and go over each one individually what our picks are, and go from there to pick the successor to Chief Aaron. Because there's no way any of us would be in a position to do it right now, if possible. So if we can get a date sometime later this week.
Yep. Thursday would be the soonest.
Pardon?
Thursday would be the soonest for posting reasons.
Okay. Are you available Thursday?
Thursday's tough. Craig's funeral's that day.
Okay.
Probably Friday.
Friday would be fine with me, it should be.
I have a MSA meeting at the Mass Select Board Association meeting at 9:30, but I'm available at 11.
Yeah.
Those are usually not
Friday's
more than
better,
an
yeah.
hour.
Friday next week. Yeah.
11 work,
Friday
Friday?
this week.
David?
Oh, this week, I'm sorry, yeah, okay, yeah, this week, yeah, that's fine, it's even better.
And Lee will be.
Now that I've said
Yep.
that.
All right, so Friday, 14th at 11.
Yeah.
Yep.
That will be here, and
So Zach, that's a meeting we'll need coverage for.
The calendar. real
Friday,
quick.
the 14th at 11 a.m.
I said, we have a lot of reviewing, everyone was taking a whole bunch of notes here, and trying to do what's best for the town of East Bridgewater, so we'll be back on the air at 11 o'clock this Friday.
I have a question. Jack, can I ask you a question in terms of coming to a decision on this? Is there any, almost like an assessment form that we could use where we could take each candidate and sort of score them? Do you have anything like that available through your services?
I don't really.
Come on, Jack.
I could develop something.
You know what I mean? Like, almost like assessing, like, leadership, like, what's their best, like, on a scale of 1 to 5.
Probably just Google it and probably would.
Yeah,
come up with something.
but it would help if we all used the same thing, so, but then just to kind of help us sort of see like where the different strengths and weaknesses are that aren't as subjective as, oh, I liked him, or I liked,
Yeah, right.
Jack, could you have that by tomorrow morning?
And also, Jack, you did a great job with the interviews, and I just want to thank you for
Yes.
taking us through this
Incredible.
process, because you've made it really, really
Difficult.
efficient.
Well,
Not easy, but efficient.
It also proves the assessment center process is very helpful.
Yes,
Absolutely.
In the sense of that we
In
were
this-
able with
in this
Jack's
case,
work
yes.
and his team.
In this case, yes, a great job by everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
No, like I said, you have 4 great candidates. We always try to make the decision as difficult as possible.
You succeeded.
Well,
And,
give this man a raise, because.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you think you could get, nothing elaborate, just
No,
something?
I'll definitely get something together.
Thank you.
Appreciate
I
it.
have an assessment center tomorrow, but I'll work on it Wednesday.
Great,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, you ready to move on?
I am.
Make a motion to appoint Kevin Nord as interim fire chief, term to end upon a new fire chief starting.
Second.
Discussion?
This would be the first day.
March 15th will be his first day.
March 15th.
Saturday.
Saturday.
Okay. All right. Discussion? I've read, talked to Charlie, everyone,
No, he's
Seems
quite
to be a great
qualified.
fit.
He did an excellent job in Duxbury. I knew him when I was working in Halifax because we had the Joint Dispatch Center project going on. And he comes well regarded.
okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I make a motion to approve and sign a contract with IT Director Ryan McGonigal.
Second.
Discussion? I see Mr. McGonagall's in the audience tonight. We appreciate that. Anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, I'm happy to, continue working for the town, and I look forward to it in the future. I mean, obviously, I'm happy to be here.
Okay. And we're glad to have you here. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We'll sign that afterwards.
Okay. Do you want to move on then, or do you want to wait?
The signature has to be legible.
Okay, well, we get it.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the February 24th, 2025 Select Board meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I make a motion to review and vote on a volunteer policy.
We missed
I
number
missed one.
5.
We're skipping that over. On my,
Yes, so the signage policy, so.
right, on mine, it says to skip number
Yeah.
5, the minutes for
Yeah.
the executive.
Okay.
Oh, the minutes for the I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I had to make changes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Sorry,
All right.
I moved.
we're
Sorry.
skipping 5 and 7.
Aye.
Okay.
Supposed to update the chair on these things. Anyway, volunteer policy.
Second.
Oh, yeah, second. Yeah.
Okay.
I was reading the other.
Any questions on this?
No, it's more a listing of the responsibility of the
Right.
volunteer. They know the rules of the road in terms of
Right.
Good.
Looks fine.
providing these
Helpful.
services to the town. And we want volunteers, obviously, but we want to know, we want to make sure that they understand what their role is.
Yeah, it's helpful. I'm gonna steal it, actually. I like it.
It's called plagiarizing.
It is. Well, why
All right.
reinvent the wheel? But I like that it spells out what people need to do. You need to get a query check, like the, you know, just all those steps and, you know, making them aware of that is good.
Okay. Peter, anything?
No?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Passing over 7.
Discussion and vote on a remote work request.
This is, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
This is for Dot Simpson. Normally, she's a 5-hour-a-week employee for the Zoning Board of Appeals, and she'll be in 1 day a week for 5 hours. With the continued work on the residences at Meadowbrook with the hearing situation, if she's only here that, well, we've budgeted for more hours, for one thing, but those hours are very scattered in the sense of she'll work those hours if, for instance, she gets an email or something like that, and she has ability to review emails and such at home. It doesn't make any sense for her to come all the way in for 5 minutes to deal with an email and then go home.
Right.
So what I'm recommending is, at least for this situation on this particular project, that she can do these scattered hours on a work-from-home basis.
Yeah, as we had talked about when we put the, policy into effect, there'll be exceptions to all these rules, and this is where I think we have to come in
It
here
makes
and
sense.
say, it makes a lot of sense here, so. Anything further? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. A discussion and vote on town election site and parking.
So,
Katie, would you like to join us?
sure, she's real thrilled.
Yay.
No one gets by us.
Says you. Yes. Charlie and I had a meeting last Tuesday, is it? With the school to review the parking situation. And then the ongoing situation with the dance recital that they have, and that is scheduled for pretty much our annual town election through the next, I think,
Forever and ever.
4 more
Millennium.
years. Yeah, it's quite a ways out. So we did discuss the option of just moving only our annual town election to the middle school. And the thought is that it would be really hard for us to, trying to think, I don't want to police
Well-
the parking situation.
Well, without a police officer.
Yeah.
I mean, we've drawn up diagrams to say, okay, we'll set aside this section of the parking lot for voters. But if we don't have anybody out.
Over at the junior, senior high school.
Yes.
Right.
But if we don't have someone actually patrolling the area, the dance people, because
wasted.
what Bill and Gina told us is they get a full auditorium, they get 800 people for these
Right.
things. So, and as you all mentioned, last year, we get people coming to vote at the election, they don't see a parking space, they go home and then say, I couldn't vote because I couldn't find a parking space, which we don't want. So the choices are, go over to the middle school where we'll have everything available to ourselves, but there's the confusion of, well, wait a minute, now I gotta go over to the middle school, I gotta park, well, what about the next one? Which one do I have to go to?
Hate that.
So the idea would be, so that's one possibility, it doesn't cost us anything more. Second would be to have a police officer, not cordon off with ropes, but maybe with signage and such, and have an officer there as a detail. If someone wants to try and park over in that section of the parking lot, the officer will have the ability to say, are you here for the dance studio, or are you here for the election? For the election, and keep an eye out to some extent, okay, the car's been there for an hour, or maybe this person, needs a.
They're really having a tough time choosing.
One
It's
of the
so hard.
problems that, for 2 years after the junior, senior high school opened, we were getting questions about why aren't we voting at the middle school, that's where I went.
Yeah.
So I think if we change the midstream now, it would be total disaster.
It might be $500 or something to have the detail there.
But when we did it with the parking situation the way it was, people were very angry, people were very frustrated, and I
Right.
know people that left that didn't vote, and that,
Correct.
that to me
We heard
bothers me
about
more
that.
than anything, is
We
that,
had a lot of
couldn't
people-
find a place to
Yeah.
park.
and we had a lot of people kind of that were extremely angry when they came in to vote.
Yes, which is
and they
not
were angry
agreed.
to the election staff.
Correct.
And they are just shy of volunteers.
Right.
And
They're not there to get yelled at.
they're not there to get yelled
I'm
at,
sure
and they
I got
were.
an earful, I'm sure you
Well,
guys did too.
absolutely.
Yeah, and that's my main
yeah.
concern. But I understand, because I was not here when we made that transition. So I definitely rely on you guys, because you were here when that happened.
Well, we were, but I don't think any of us knew when we made that decision. We based the changing of the date of the annual town election solely on the date of annual town meeting.
Right.
Saying that it makes a lot more sense for the election to happen after town meeting.
Correct.
But
But
we
the
had
change
no
in
idea when we
location.
did that,
Yes,
Just recital going
that this was gonna be,
this big issue.
I mean, so me personally, I think middle school, it should be there. And the only reason I say that is because, I mean, you know, it's, if we permanently have it at that spot where we know there's not gonna be any, there might be some, you know, change curves or bumps in the road, but I think with the signage we have out front here, the social media we
oh,
have.
Peter.
I mean, why are we spending this money if we can't use these things to incorporate that? We have a police officer there, it's fine, but, you know, now they have to find the police officer where they're at. I mean, it's, you know, it's just too much. To me, there's too much going on in this area right here not to have it centralized. And then for good, I mean, down there. Now, a bigger election, presidential election, things like that, that's a different story. You know?
Yeah, so the presidential election, any of the other elections, the state elections can't be held anywhere but at the junior, senior high school. And I made sure that I told them that. They said that they were willing to work with us about maybe having that, as long as I can get them the information fast enough, which it shouldn't be a problem.
The every 2-year November elections are easy. We know that
Yes.
it's a set date, it's the first Tuesday after the first
Right.
Monday, fine. The presidential, not presidential primary, is in March usually, but it can be a different date. The September primary in the even years is dependent on when the Jewish holidays are, to some extent, and when Labor Day is and things like that. So we can't, for instance, say today, a year and a half from now, when the September 2026 primary. But the minute we do, we can give that information. We should know before they set up the school calendar, for instance, for be the calendar 26-27 school year. So the idea will be, we hope, I think, is that they will close
School.
they'll have professional days on both the September and November days.
And they'll make sure that the professional days are not at the junior, senior, but are at the middle school, so that the teachers aren't there for that as well, which will be very helpful.
Right.
So, but we're accepting your advice, or not even advice, but your decision as to where to have the town election, over at the middle or here at the junior, senior high school.
I think it should be a junior, senior, I don't think we should confuse people anymore.
Goes down to Cal.
Oh, God, no, don't make me decide. You don't have a recommendation for the board? I mean, this is your day.
Yeah, and
No, I don't mean it to sound like that, but I mean, do you have any feeling of like which is gonna, either way, people are gonna be upset. People are either gonna be
either way,
upset
people are gonna
that
be
there's no
upset.
parking, or they're gonna be upset
Yeah.
that we moved the location and
Yes.
there's a conspiracy involved and we didn't tell them because we don't want them to vote, which nothing could be further from the truth.
Right.
But
right.
people are suspicious of government sometimes, and that's gonna be
Sometimes.
a lot of the times. So,
I personally, I would probably want to move it to the middle school. If it was up to me, unfortunately, I do have to I've never moved an election, so that in and of itself doesn't seem like a good decision. But I think for my staff, as well as for the confusion and the issues that have arisen with having a dance recital at the location. But again, I'm a little nervous saying it. I could see Dave's like, oh.
And the problem is, we have the election about 2 months from now,
Yes, and that I don't know if we can move this year.
and
Oh.
that's the whole thing.
oh, this isn't for this year anyway?
It might not be, no. I'm trying to get the answer from the state, how quickly I need to be
So
able
in that
to.
case, we don't need it, I'll leave it the way it is, we'll worry about it.
I know, I just saw, so I'm trying to figure out.
Can we
exactly
put a
what I
question
have
on
to
the
do.
ballot asking people, what's your preference? A bad parking situation or a different location? Can we do like exit polls and like, no, I'm not, I mean,
know,
I'm
I
kind of
understand.
serious, like,
Yeah.
is there a way that we can ask people, like, we're trying to gather information, like, what's your preference? You want to deal with parking, or do you want to,
Why don't we ask the people
Deal
that are
with
watching us now to
remembering.
call us and tell us?
yeah,
Oh, you.
Both of them,
call in that 800 number?
both of them.
You know what I'm saying, though?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to make the decision based on what the majority of people
Why
would.
don't we work on that, but
Support.
in the meantime, for
Absolutely.
2 months from now, we'll leave it the way
Alright.
it is.
So
And we'll come back with it.
if I find out, so I guess the question is, if I find out I can move it this year, do I come back?
No.
No.
because we'll get this. Basically, you'll say, if we can move it, we'll do that, yes?
No,
And if
I
we
don't.
can't move it, we won't.
I say yes, he says no. Carol's still waiting on Carol.
I mean, I think I'd be more inclined to move it, sorry.
No.
He's leaving.
I feel like that's,
It's time to play my song.
which one?
I don't.
Yeah, I
care.
don't.
Yeah, I know. I just feel like that's, I feel like less people will be frustrated by a move than frustrated by no parking.
Right.
Right.
And then, and.
The worst thing you
doing
can say
that,
to the town clerk is, I didn't get to vote because there
Right.
was no parking.
Right.
Then I'm failing.
right, because if they go there and we have signage, as much signage as we can have, banners, balloons,
We will-
I don't know,
We'll, you know,
shuttle
if
buses.
we do if we're at the middle school, we start off, we've got at least 3 signs. For all I know, Mitchell Middle School sign may be up by then.
By next
4
year.
signs saying that we can do the reverse 911. There are a number of things we can do.
Yeah,
Whatever.
do everything we can so that people know.
Yep. Need a vote for that, or what are we doing here? We're just saying if you can get it moved?
Yes, I
move it.
think for our purposes, we'd like you to vote to say that, yes.
I make a motion that we move the annual town election and the annual town election only to the Gordon W. Mitchell Middle School, if that is a feasible thing to do
Gonna do it for this year?
for this year.
yeah. Second.
All in favor?
I
Aye.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew you'd come over.
gave to the peer pressure.
No, it's a shame because
It's,
you guys,
either way, it's gonna be, you could have like fallen on your sword on that one.
Yeah.
All right.
Said,
Yeah.
I have plenty of swords before.
well, that's true. You'll have other opportunities.
Yeah, I'll be out there.
I know.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
I make a motion to approve the request from the East Bridgewater Garden Club for the use of the town hall parking lot and green for the East Bridgewater Garden Club annual plant sale. Set up Friday, May 23rd, 2025. Day of event is Saturday, May 24th, 2025, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. The rain date is Sunday, May 25th, 2025.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
All right.
Aye. North Bedford Street Sewer Project.
We've done.
Yep.
So, okay. That was our open forum.
Yep.
Then that is it for
Thank you.
action items.
Announcements?
Oh, we have 2 open job postings currently. Library director, that position is set to close on the 13th, on Wednesday.
No applicants?
Thursday?
Applicants?
Thursday, is the
Thursday,
13th Thursday? So Thursday, the 13th.
Do we have any applicants yet?
We have one
Oh. Winner.
applicant.
Give it to her.
And then,
Sign it tomorrow.
Maybe one of the,
She
maybe
avail-
if
is
we
she
don't,
available
we
at
can take
13?
one of the fire chief candidates.
Yeah.
Maybe one of them would like to be library director.
Would he or she be available Friday?
we'll see, we'll talk to Charlie about that, what's going on.
All right.
And then today we posted the COA director position, and that is set to close on the 28th of March.
And we may be, by the end of the day, posting Board of Health agent position also,
Okay.
when similarly 28.
Okay.
All right. Town administrator.
2 pieces of information. One is that we were successful through the work of Brian Kai and Chris Collins, along with the department heads for the various buildings and such, but we've received another $106,688 for energy efficiency work, AKA Green Communities Grant. This will be the 2nd competitive grant and the 3rd grant overall the town's received, and that would be totaling about $450,000 between the 3 grants.
Great.
So that's been a great program for the town to participate in. And that work should be done relatively soon. We need to get the contract agreements and such from the state and get them signed and such, but I'm hoping before maybe by sometime in April, we'll start getting the work done. A lot of it is weatherization projects in this case, for a number of the buildings, DPW, fire, council on aging, the library. Also we don't have this money in hand yet, we're gonna try to, but we have the East Bridgewater budget priorities for state budget, AK earmarks. I had received from the departments some possible items. Fire department, $11,000 for digital pagers. Town hall, $25,000 for sound systems in the 2 conference rooms, that's in order to meet ADA requirements. Continue to work at the library for the repairs and infrastructure improvements that we've done for the last couple of years, to continue that. Another $50,000. Police department would like to get $25,000 for a drone program, and another $10,000 for the council on aging to continue its grab-and-go meal programs.
Okay.
I don't know if the board has any, one of or two of these that it would like to push harder on, in the sense of if our legislative delegation says, if we're only going to be able to fund one, and given the chaotic nature right now in our state and federal governments, we're not quite sure how all this is going to play out for the budget. We may, we're not, it's unlikely, for instance, we're going to get all 5. So if there are priorities out of this list, I'm happy to transmit that information to our legislative delegation.
I personally would just like to see the grab and go continue.
I would say that's
it's-
really important
and
for
it's
a
the-
large number of
You know,
people.
it's the cheapest one there, and, these people look forward to that every month, so.
Yeah.
When we didn't get it, fortunately, we had some businesses in town to pick up the slack, and they covered it, so.
Should I be asking for more than 10,000?
Yeah,
Because
we can try for 15.
I believe we got it.
We had
covered.
15 at one time,
Yeah, so
so
let me
let's go back to
bump it up to 15.
Yeah,
And I had suggested the sound system, because that was something we had talked about, and we didn't really see a way for us to fund it, so I was like, well,
Right.
if we could get it that way, then we could get it done without it coming back
Yeah.
on the town budget.
yeah, that's fine. Seems like a lot of money, though.
Mm.
Can we just give megaphones out to people coming in? Be a lot cheaper.
Mr. Microphone?
They are. I get the,
I don't know if
The old- the old-
megaphones are ADA.
well, when you went to the Red Sox, you get your popcorn.
That's right.
Microphone.
Yeah, right. We can do
Glove
that.
with the-
Without the popcorn, we don't want to
Right,
mess
no
up there.
popcorn, no.
All right, anything else?
I have nothing else at this time.
Board discussions? Peter?
I think we all want to say something about Craig. Obviously,
Right.
Craig Cambasion passed away a couple days ago. He was the owner of town, his family was the owner of Town Cleaners, which operated in downtown. Very sad. Craig was such a great guy, personally, going there on Fridays to have discussions about town events and things that were happening, and in a good way, and sometimes in a little bit of a different way. I'm going to miss that. I'm certainly going to miss Greg. My condolences to his family. His services, I just looked up Thursday, this coming Thursday from 4 to 8 at the Chapman Funeral Home in Bridgewater. Again, can't say enough about Greg, and he'll certainly be missed in town.
Yeah, Craig was that was the meeting place for the town. It used to be the old Central Cafe, well, now that's where it was. If you wanted to hear good or bad, that's where to go.
Yep, yep.
He'll be missed, and, his family did a lot of stuff for East Bridgewater, and
Yeah.
hopefully that will continue with Jennifer.
We will miss him at Kiwanis for sure.
Wasn't he lifetime?
No, that's Bruce Meserve, but Craig was active for forever and was very known for saying at meetings when someone talked for too long, "Sit down!" He would just sort of bellow that throughout the room. It was great.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't got that. Glad he didn't come to our meeting. Okay, Carol?
The Viking cheerleaders are state champs. They won over the weekend, so congratulations to them.
We should see if they would like to come in and give us a cheer. About two.
We could use some
About
cheer.
two. Yeah, maybe we have them at town meeting.
Maybe they could be at the town election there to tell people to go.
Yeah.
Tell them where to go, yeah.
Right.
All right, anything else?
Nope.
Pancake breakfast?
Pancake breakfast, Kiwanis Pancake Breakfast is March 30th, from 7 a.m. 30th, 31st, 30th.
Sunday.
Zach is scowling at me. Yes, March 30th, from 7 a.m. to 12 noon. All your local Kiwanians have tickets to support the programs that Kiwanis does for the town, most importantly, scholarships and all the other food pantries that we donate to every month and all of that, so. Always, and a food drive at the same time, and, you know, we look forward to the community support for this. And I cook eggs, so it's your chance.
You have to bring your own eggs? so
You
can
do not have
cook
to
'em?
bring, no, you know.
All right.
We considered having to raise we're gonna charge like $1 extra if you wanted an egg,
Yeah.
but.
Yeah, right.
You got a good
Bring your
deal,
own
I
chicken.
hear. All right, let's move into executive.
I make a motion to close open meeting and enter executive session and not return to open session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21, to discuss personnel policy, pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions in
meeting,
preparation
Micah.
for negotiations with non-union personnel,
Call you.
or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel, health agent, library director, building commissioner, zoning enforcement officer, treasurer, collector, director of assessing, IT director, town accountant, town administrator, pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares. Firefighters, superior officers, clerical DPW superior officers, patrol officers. Vote to close executive session and not return to open session. Carol Julius, aye.
Dave Sheedy, aye.
Peter Spigot, aye.
Thank you. Have a great St. Patrick's Day, folks.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Corned beef and cat.